There's a new sheriff in the NFT marketplaces. It's called Blur.io and it's ready to challenge OpenSea for the #1 platform for trading NFTs. In this video, I'm gonna show you all the reasons why this might actually happen and also what might prevent Blur.io from overtaking OpenSea. And of course, at the end, we're gonna look into some price predictions and how we can potentially make money because we are crypto degenerate traders and we're all here to make money, not just to watch random YouTubers on the internet reviewing tokens that nobody really cares about. Blur is taking the NFT space by storm. It's pretty much an NFT marketplace, but it's not only this. Here you can sell, you can list, you can buy NFTs, whatever you want. However, you can also list your NFTs on platforms like OpenSea and LooksRare right from here. And that's actually one of the first things that I really like about this platform. It's simple, it's intuitive. You need to have a little bit more experience, and I know that NFT traders that I personally know and have a lot more experience than me really love the interface and the platform and also the functionalities. You can list here NFTs on different platforms, you can make bids on entire collections, and it's very intuitive. Right now you have 0 fees, which is actually a huge benefit for traders, and there are a lot of other cool features that make Blur stand out. And really, it's the first time ever that a platform is challenging OpenSea. And I can tell that this here is built by NFT traders that know what they're doing, know what was missing in the space of NFTs, and they're pretty much delivering it. And I can totally understand the hype around Blur. And if we look here at the volumes, you'll be able to see on this dashboard that we have pretty much all the major NFT marketplaces and the volumes that they're pulling right now. So you'll be able to see here on OpenSea in the last few weeks, on average per week, we have around 100 million in volume. And if you look at LooksRare right here, which is another platform that I have a review on, it is pulling around $10 million in weekly trading volume, and that is without the wash trading. You can see here that LooksRare has a lot of wash trading, so be careful with this, and that's why I like this dashboard here. And then if we scroll down to Blur, you'll be able to see that consistently per week it's pulling around 70 to 80 million in volume. Even here in December it was over 100 million volume per week. This is without the wash trading. So definitely a major challenger for OpenSea. And actually just very recently OpenSea came with the announcement that they're implementing 0 fees for a certain period of time to fight against Blur and the way that they're eating their market share. I love to see this. I love to see this competition and finally someone challenging OpenSea, because they were constantly having 2.5% fees and pretty much no flexibility, a lot of crashes, and now they're challenged and they need to improve, which overall for me as an end user and NFT trader will be much better experience overall. Another thing that I very much like about this project is that there's a lot of buzz on social media. You can see here that they already have 200,000 followers, but before they started listing their token, they were on all major exchanges. They were talking about this on their podcasts. There was a lot of hype around it. Also, the day of the listing was also the day of their airdrop. So there was a combination of several factors creating a lot of buzz around this project. And this is perfect execution in my opinion, and you can tell that there are people backing this up, that they know what they're doing. And also a major advantage is having your token listed on all pretty much major exchanges. Tokens like LooksRare and X2Y2 are pretty much not listed on any major exchanges. So right from the get-go, the volume that this thing is pulling is immense. And we're gonna look into the price action a little bit later in the video, but just on hype alone, this makes for a very good project to look into and to have on your radar, because as I've mentioned several times already, narrative is what drives price, and Blur has a lot of narratives going for it. One more thing that I wanted to show you is the number of daily active users. While the volume is getting up there with OpenSea, you'll be able to see that the daily active users, at least from the last several days where we are able to see this data already on Token Terminal, there's still a big gap between Blur and OpenSea. So OpenSea here on February 16 was having on average 42,000 people and Blur had almost 15,000. But I don't think that's a terrible thing, because all the beginners are probably on OpenSea and Blur is more the home of experienced NFT traders. And actually, that's one of the major problems that I have with this. Although for me personally, the platform is intuitive, when I was playing around with it, I think it might be a little bit harder for complete beginners. While OpenSea interface is very beginner friendly and it's very nice and very simplistic, this one is not so much. So if we want to see real growth in users and continuation of the growth in volume, they will either need to think of a way to simplify this or just push the marketing, because I don't think it's that hard to learn this platform, but definitely in the beginning it could look a little bit overwhelming. Yes, they have settings here where you can see, you can choose between trader if you're just a trader or collector style, so you'll be able to see the difference here, how everything looks this way when you're just a collector or a beginner, as they would put it. It's much closer to the OpenSea interface. However, I still think OpenSea has advantage over attracting beginners because of course it's the most popular platform, and we can see this in the number of traders here. However, the volumes that experienced traders are pulling on Blur is definitely challenging OpenSea. Another major challenge that Blur will face is what's going to happen with their volumes and with their daily active users once the buzz around the airdrop is done. They were attracting a lot of customers, and actually here you'll be able to see that a lot of the volume was mainly because a lot of people were farming this token for the airdrop, and a lot of people made a lot of money from their airdrop. However, is this a sustainable business model? In my opinion, it's not. Also, the combination of this type of farming for airdrop together with 0% fees, I don't really think this is a reliable model for the long term, and they will definitely need to think about this and how they will manage all the token inflation, which we're going to look in just a second, together with the utility of their token and also the fees on the platform. They cannot go forever with 0% fees. I'm not a fan of this. We need to have a sustainable business model similar to LuxRare. Otherwise, this will just create pressure for the owners to keep dumping their tokens on the market. And that's actually one of the other major concerns that I have, their tokenomics. As you can see here, they just listed them actually before the launch of the project. And while 50% is for the community, which will probably be in some kind of form of rewards or airdrop, you see here that investors and contributors combined for around another 50%, which is pretty much half of the project is owned by the owners or people involved. And to make things worse, the lockup period for them is just a few months. Actually, it's just 4 months, and after that they will be able to start dumping their tokens. And that's why I'm saying they need a sustainable business model, because all of the inflation that you're seeing here will mean pressure on the people that want to buy, but the price keeps dumping because the owners have 50% of the supply. And to add to this, just 12% of the Blur is currently in circulation, and this is all of the airdrops that they did already. So keep this in mind. And the last thing that I wanted to point out here is that they don't really have currently any other utility for their token besides having a DAO. And when I was reading the governance part of this white paper, it's not really a white paper, it's just a couple of pages, but it's very basic. It feels like they just wrote it down just for the token launch and to have something to look more legit. I don't really like what they're saying here, and I don't really like that they're not mentioning anything more about additional token utility. So definitely that is something that we need to monitor, and I think it's very important in the future. And the last thing actually that I want to mention is also their market cap. The price has run up quite significantly, and the fully diluted market cap here on CoinMarketCap is around $3.5 billion, which is, I think, insane valuation. And even the current market cap is around 400 million, which is still quite significant. If we compare this with other projects, you'll be able to see that Blur is quite inflated. Yes, maybe LuxRare and X2Y2 are not that big of players in the space, but come on, these are multiples in the numbers of like 10x more than these platforms. Is this 10x better? I don't know. We have to see. They definitely have potential. Blur definitely, in my opinion, can challenge and can overtake OpenSea. However, I'm not sure that this valuation makes sense right now. So after all of this, what exactly is my plan and how I'm planning to trade this token? As you can see on the daily, we don't have much of price history. To be honest, I was waiting for price to dump a lot harder, but it seems to be not only holding up, but actually running quite a lot. From this close on the first day, we are already up like 80%, which is huge. Part of this is because of all the buzz that they created, but also part of this that all the tokens are locked. Don't forget that in about 4 months, there will be huge unlocks, and that I think will cause the price to dump. If we go down to the hourly chart, you see that we're challenging this level right at this moment, but I'm honestly not planning to trade this. There's a lot of hype right now. There are a lot of other setups that in my opinion look more juicy, and I need to see on the daily a lot more history. If we see patterns like accumulation, or if we see price dumping at some point and then accumulating, yes, for sure, this is on my watch list. It's actually on my tier 1 watch list, just because of the execution and the platform that is so good. And although this might still be a rich valuation, even if we sell off, I'm definitely interested because hype moves markets. I'm gonna keep repeating this, and it's so true for crypto. I've seen tokens just blow up even with insane valuations. And as you can see, there's no competitor right now for Blur. The other tokens that are available for trading are LuxRare and X2Y2. And if you see the daily chart here, you'll be able to see that they're actually selling off once Blur was launched. And I think this makes a lot of sense just because it is so good and is pulling so much more volume than these couple of platforms that people are like, okay, I want an NFT play, but I'm not gonna be investing in these dead tokens and dead marketplaces. I'm gonna go with Blur because I cannot invest in OpenSea. They don't have a token, and I think that's a huge advantage and nothing to be underestimated. So if I see a pattern, definitely I'm gonna jump into it and look for favorable risk to reward. But right now I'm just monitoring. To be honestly, I hope it dumps. But even if it doesn't, and if we just accumulate here, that would also be fine in a valid crypto setup. If it just continues upwards from here, I'm just gonna let it ride, and I'm pretty much not gonna trade it because I don't like to chase this hype without any retracement. But usually this doesn't happen in crypto. There are always retracements. But if it goes parabolic and then it dumps right here, this is also not a really good price action. Something like this is happening with AI tokens at the moment. So yeah, right now I'm just gonna be monitoring, and of course, if I have any other updates, I'm gonna let you know, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.